the ATF. All right? An unconstitutional organization, well, arguably, creates laws by themselves without taking it to the Supreme Court, in which case those laws can only be overturned by taking it to the Supreme Court. It's said that they are here to be able to regulate weapons, firearms. Well, they've moved past their jurisdiction from firearms to simply items. Items of safety for the users, items of preference, items of comfort, items that can be used not just simply to take life, but also to preserve life, or to preserve safety, or to preserve your hearing, or just because you want it. Because after all, this is a country founded on liberty and freedom. A country that believes that we are innocent until proven guilty, yet we are all treated as if we are guilty until proven innocent. And it has nothing to do with really being guilty or innocent. It has everything to do with control and greed. We're gonna put a $200 tax on suppressors because, well, back in the old days, it was in the Great Depression and they were afraid. The good cause that they took our freedom away this time was people are gonna use suppressors or silencers to poach. That's our straw man that we're setting up here so we can take your liberty away. But we're not fully taking it away, so to speak. I mean, we're just gonna tax you an extra $200 so that you can't get it. Well, now $200 isn't as expensive as it used to be, but it will be again, eventually, with inflation. Why can't I have a suppressor so that I can make it a little bit easier on my ears and not have to worry about damaging my hearing? You know, I'd like the comfort of not having to wear hearing protection in all occasions outside. Plus, it looks cool, and I want one. But I cannot justify paying the government $200 of extra taxes that I can't afford, but also shouldn't have to afford, because the government wants money that they are terrible at handling, that they will then send overseas to aid other countries and other citizens of other countries, instead of, utilizing it here for, I don't know, what they were originally supposed to use the tax money from the suppressors, building better hunting environments, national parks, training facilities, and ranges, which they didn't do, and they still don't do. Where does that tax money go? Wherever Uncle Sam wants it to. Right now, Ukraine, Israel, other places in the world. Why is my money going to other places in the world when I have not authorized it to do so? Why are the taxes so extremely high, depending on what tax bracket you're in, but even the lowest, still, by the way, the lowest tax bracket in America is still higher than the tax the Americans fought the Revolutionary War over. So please explain to me why that's a thing and why that's been a thing for quite some time. I don't know. But then you're gonna go and tax us even more for suppressors, or for certain attachments for weapons, or for certain types of weapons or capacities that the weapons yield. So you want a fully automatic weapon, or you want an extremely large round, you want a suppressor, or you want a certain type of stock, or you want to put a stock on a pistol, or even foregrips. It's like, guys, what are we doing at this point? Dude, gun culture is doing nothing but enabling tyranny. Change my mind. You don't believe me? We are too busy arguing over whether or not you should spend $5,000 on an AR-15, or whether or not you should spend $400 or $500 on an AR-15. Because anyone who spends $500 on an AR, they're just idiots. Why are we arguing about that? First of all, you're wrong. Second of all, if you really think that your survival depends on how much your rifle costs, then you are leaving out millions of other different things that will play into your survival if something does go down. So you're wrong, again. Number 3, why are we wasting our time arguing about those things when we should be finding a way to improve the quality of life for the American people, holding this country and its government in check to the morals in which this country was founded, one nation under God, to preserve life and to be just. And that's just what it is. The government has a very limited authority on purpose. The government is to take life from those who have taken life. You don't just take all our tax money and tax us more and then threaten to send our children to war. And then, we won't send you to war if you just let us take more taxes and send it to another country. That's not in any way for our public benefit as a nation, as a people. Makes no sense. What needs to be is if you are going to tax us, you use that tax money, like you said you were going to, for the benefit of our country, here, not elsewhere, not other people. For us. That's why we give you taxes, to do your job. And your job is to protect the borders of this country and to protect the people of this country, to punish evil in this country. Now, can you justify some wars outside of this country? Yes, but not always. That shouldn't be the standard. I don't know why we've somehow adopted this idea that America is God and should hold everyone outside of its country accountable as if they're living in our nation's borders. We spend so much time arguing with each other about minuscule, stupid things, and not nearly enough time being involved in arguing with the people that are actually doing something that's causing us harm. The government is not being held accountable. Tyranny is not being kept in check. Thank you, Texas, for standing up to the federal government. It was well within your rights to do so. May that be the spark that lights the fire with everybody else in this country, that, hey, we are being taxed to the point to where we cannot provide for our families. Inflation has gotten so bad because of billionaire greed that we cannot provide for our families. We cannot live a quiet and peaceable life now because the government is stepping outside of its borders and fighting other people's wars and using our tax money and more of our tax money to support them rather than keep our own nation safe and enable our people to do the work that they need to do. And so here we are, it's 2024. Are you ready for something to change? I am. The power comes from the people. We are supposed to be the government. We are in the government. We play roles in the government. We choose who the government is. That being said, we need to figure out what is going on and what solution there is to fix it. Because if we don't, no one else will. That's the truth. And it might be difficult. It might cost us commodities. It could even go as far as being bloody, which I hope it does not. I hope it does not cost lives to stand up to and say enough is enough. I hope it doesn't. I really don't. I don't want to be running around the streets of what was once known as America trying to keep my family out of harm's way because we have a second civil war, or our government becomes so tyrannical and corrupt that the people have no choice but to rise up and basically kill them all. I mean, that's terrible. No one wants to do that. It's not good for anyone because people die on both sides. But there is a point in time where if the American people do not stand up and say enough is enough, we need to unite as a people, not as a Republican, not as a Democrat. We're neither or. We are the American people, and we want to correct all the wrongs for the American people and allow for liberty and freedom for people to express their own opinions, whether they differ extremely or not extremely. There comes a time where we put that off for so long. The people in power, the greedy billionaires and the politicians, seep their deep hooks down into every aspect of American politics and government and corrupt it with deadly poison to the point where there is no good in the government anymore. And when that happens and the people have no liberty and can be prosecuted for simply living out the Constitution as it was written, thrown in jail or imprisoned or killed for simply owning an item or selling an item, when that becomes the norm, which it is trending that way, there is no other way out of that situation than bloodshed. And that's what we don't want. So can we please, for the love of everything good, can we just simply come together as the American people and discuss amongst each other on a local level, a statewide level, a nationwide level, what can we do? What needs to be done?